one shot per game or one shot per 90. Rashford is averaging one shot per 90. To just make a quick comparison, my point is, the overall point of this video, the overall message is, Marcus Rashford is not performing. We've had players in the past that have also not performed and we've gotten rid of. Okay guys, it's time to talk about Marcus Rashford because as I see it, Rashford's time at Manchester United is over. And it's really hard to say this because I've been one of the biggest defenders of Marcus Rashford. I've talked about Rashford in this channel for years. One of my first videos on this channel was about Marcus Rashford. I've gone on other platforms like KG's channel. I've gone on Player's Choice. I've gone to other people, even Saeed TV. I've gone on other platforms to try and defend Rashford. But I just feel like the time is over for Rashford at Manchester United. And it is time for him to look continuing his career somewhere else. Now this video will be a bit different. The editing style is going to be a bit different just because I'm a bit short on time, but I couldn't end this week without making a video on Rashford. You know, every week I try to go over a specific topic, and this week it has to be Rashford because I am done defending this guy. And we're going to go over the stats. We're going to see what the stats tell us. We're going to see what story the stats paint. And I'm even going to make a quick comparison to Memphis Depay because Memphis Depay was another player that wasn't performing at Manchester United, went to Ligue 1 and then La Liga and was able to perform and become a champion. So maybe Rashford can do something similar, but his time at United and what United want to build with Ruben Amorim, Rashford will not be part of it. So we're going to move over to the other screen now, and we're going to start by reacting at some of these numbers. So these are Rashford's numbers for this season, and as we can see already, it's just lackluster. You know, they're not the worst numbers in the world. They're not the worst numbers in the world. They're not the numbers. I wouldn't call Rashford a bum for these numbers. But we're talking about someone who is 27 years old, who's now becoming one of the senior players at Manchester United. Rashford is no longer the academy player that broke out the other night in the Europa League and then went to score 2 goals against Arsenal on the weekend. That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. That was over 7 years ago. And the Rashford that we have here now is someone who at this time in his career should be taking over this team. He should be leading the charge in a team that's struggling with young players like Garnacho. Ahmad's a great talent. He had a great game last night, but Ahmad is inconsistent. Højlund was injured. Xerxes, I generally believe, from the first time I looked at Xerxes, I told you guys we should have never signed Xerxes. So Rashford should have been that player. And you look at his numbers, 24 games played, and he has 7 goals and 3 assists. In total, 10 goal contributions, and it's not just enough. And it's not just, the goal contributions that scare me, is how he's going about these goal contributions. It's Rashford's overall output on the pitch. Is when you look at what Rashford is actually doing on a game-to-game basis or on a 90-minute basis. So attacking wise in the Premier League, if you just look at the Premier League alone, Rashford has played 15 games, okay, and he scored 4 goals. Already atrocious, but I've explained why that is. He's averaging, and then just looking at the goals is not good enough. But then you look at this, and this is one of the stats that I always talk about when we're looking at our players' output, is shots per game. Rashford is averaging 1 shot per game, or 1 shot per 90. Rashford is averaging 1 shot per 90. To just make a quick comparison, let's just look at what, for example, I don't want to compare Rashford to Haaland, but let's look at what Saka is averaging. Let's just look at what Saka is averaging per 90 in the Premier League as far as his shots per game goes. So Saka this season is averaging 3 shots per game. And ideally, if you're a forward, you want to be somewhere between the 3 shots per game or the 5 shots per game. Mbappe this season is averaging 5 shots per game. Ronaldo in the Euros this year, or the Euros last... When was the Euros? Yeah, Ronaldo in the Euros this year, in the summer, Ronaldo didn't score a single goal, but Ronaldo was still averaging 5 shots per game. Marcus Rashford, as a forward, senior player in the Premier League, there's no way you're averaging 1 shot per game. No wonder he only has 4 goals in the Premier League. Then you look at his shots on target per game, it's even worse. It's 0.6. His goal conversion rate is at 25%. This is shocking. These are shocking stats. He's expected assists this season, and then you look at what for a forward where he's at. His expected assists are 1.35, and I also forgot to talk about his expected goals, which are only at 1.7. You look at these numbers, and it's just like, what is this guy doing? You look at his passing accuracy, his chipped passes are 35%, his long balls are 40%, his accurate crosses are 33%. And then it gets even worse when you look at Rashford's defensive contributions. His interceptions per game 0.3, tackles per game 0.5. His successful dribble rate is at 26%. You close this one, and then you go and look where he ranks in the percentile of players in the Premier League. Rashford is ranked in the 27th percentile for expected goals. As I was talking about before, shots on target, shots on goal, 25 percentile, assists, 22 percentile. This is a player who is a shell of himself. For lack of a better word, Rashford is a shell of himself. And we've tried this before. 2 years ago when Rashford had that shoulder injury, and I defended Rashford all year long. Rashford came back, scored 30 goals. I genuinely felt vindicated. I genuinely felt that I was defending the right man, and the right man came back, and Rashford did his thing. And I was extremely proud of Rashford. But it's this inconsistency that I just can't keep defending. As a football fan, as a United fan, I cannot, and I will not keep defending Rashford's inconsistency. Because it's not just this season, it's last year as well. When you look at Rashford's numbers from last year, let me just move the screen over. And then you look at Rashford's numbers from last year, and it's more of the same. It's just not good enough. It's not indicative of a senior player at Manchester United. It's not indicative of a senior player that's been here for ages, that's had seasons where he scored 20, 30 goals. Someone who can do it. Someone who, for the most part, at least when he's performing, has the full support of the fans. And I'm not going to talk about all the off the pitch stuff and all the other stuff people are talking about. I'm going to focus on the football, because that's what I care about. I'm going to focus on the football, but the football is not looking good either. The football is not looking good at all. And again, as I was saying, last year, 43 games played, and this man only had 13 goal contributions. I won't do the same thing that I did for this year, going more into the other stats. But, again, it helps to paint the picture. He is just not good enough for Manchester United. And we need to move on. And as I said at the start of the video, I am going to give you the example of Memphis Depay. Because Memphis Depay as well, when he was in the Premier League, so let's look at the 15-16 season. When Memphis Depay was in the Premier League, he was also struggling. And in my opinion, if you go and look at Memphis Depay at his time at Manchester United and what he was displaying, I still think Memphis Depay, although he never had a 30-goal season or a 20-goal season like Marcus Rashford, at least from the eye test, Memphis Depay had a much higher upside in my part. There are just certain things that you see with Memphis Depay's game that you don't really see with Rashford's game. And we got rid of Memphis Depay like this because he wasn't performing. So with Rashford, it has to be a similar thing. If we're going to get rid of Memphis Depay like this for not performing, we can also get rid of Rashford. So Memphis Depay, in his last few seasons at Manchester United, he played 46 games, and he only had 14 goal contributions. Then you go and look at Memphis Depay's career. So then he went on to Lyon. In his first full season at Lyon, he had 22 goals and 17 goal contributions. Memphis Depay was a monster this season. This was the 2018 season, just before the World Cup. Then Memphis Depay in 2021, again another year where he had 20 goals and 12 assists with Lyon. Now Memphis Depay is also another very inconsistent player, so I'm not saying that Rashford and Memphis Depay are going to have the same career. But my point is, Rashford, you don't have to stay at United to play football. You can go somewhere else. It's not working at United. Go look for another place. Get out of England. Go play somewhere else. teams like Juventus, teams like PSG, teams like I don't know, just go look for something else, because it's not working at United. And even Memphis Depay, when he then was part of that Barcelona winning team. Now, he didn't do much in that team, but he was still part of the team. My point is, the overall point of this video, the overall message is, Marcus Rashford is not performing. We've had players in the past that have also not performed, and we've gotten rid of. It's time to get rid of Rashford. It hurts me to say this, but it is time. Anyways, guys, I appreciate watching to the end. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share. Do all these things to please help me grow this channel. And as per usual, I'll see you soon.